It wasn't difficult when deciding on what essay topics I would revise. This is because the two essays I chose had topics that resonated, and I felt as if I could expound upon them in a more specific way. I chose to revise my review essay on the hit American TV show The Office, and also my reflective essay on education. I received a B minus and a B on these essays. I did not revise these essays in a practical way, but instead wrote two entirely different essays. My review became a more analytical essay, and my reflection became a generic essay. Not only was grammar, rhetoric, and syntax changed, but the holistic view on these essays revolutionized. My first review essay on The Office was well written but lacked a central point. The essay was reviewing the entire show characters, plot, theme, etc. The introductory paragraph was put together, but the remainder of the essay was a little too scattered. Many of the following paragraphs had a solid idea, and the paragraphs were centralized around that idea. Those paragraphs did not coincide with the main idea that was presented in the opening introduction, though, and the essay was a bit confusing. With that being said, I felt as if it would be much easier to centralize and specify an idea in the format of a more analytical essay. Analyzing the central theme of the show, ignorance is in direct correspondence to stupidity, was a lot more solidified. Firstly, I started off with viewing an episode of The Office and analyzing two characters, Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute. Within the episode, the characters were offensive to some of the other workers because of their ignorance, and they failed to realize that they were a nuisance in the workplace. In my original review essay, I described both Michael and Scott, but also many of the other characters in the show as well. The reflective essay on education dealt with similar problems. The essay did not have a centralized point, but had many good points. Also, the essay's content, education, seemed to be more feasibly written in a new context. In order for me to relinquish the personal aspect of the reflection, I wrote a more formal generic essay, and it made all the difference. The reflection essay focused on education as a whole. As stated in the reflection, education was deemed essential for the youth, but it lacked the focus of teaching children what they needed to learn. In the new essay, the topic was concentrated even more and focused on the different learning styles of children grades K through 12 and how the school classroom setting and standardized tests are of little benefit. The reflections focus was not only on the classroom, but also on diseases that were caused from being in the classroom, such as ADHD. This again was too broad, and each paragraph was essentially separated from the general idea. In the essay, instead of talking about Ken Robinson's, I expounded on the four learning styles kinesthetic, read, write, visual, and auditory, along with how schools use them at certain ages. Throughout the initial essay were glimpses of writing that could keep the reader reading, but in the end they failed. This is because there were many different directions that the papers took.